आप अपनी स्क्रीन पे देख रहे हो, this is decoding the priorities analysis of Union Budget 2021. It is 83 page का book है ये, लेकिन we are not supposed to cover the entire book in this course. We are only supposed to cover the annexures of this report. So 76, page number 76 to 81 is what we are supposed to cover. And as the annexure says, this is the glossary of budget concepts and documents. So before reading the budget documents, it is important that we are all aware of these concepts. Some of these concepts we've already discussed in our previous discussion, so that will just be a quick revision for us in today's class. And some of these concepts may be new, maybe some information might be new for you today in today's class. Okay, so we'll start with the first topic, which is classification of government receipts. So every budget broadly consists of two parts. We've already talked about this. One is the expenditure budget, the other is the receipts budget. The expenditure budget presents the information on how much the government intends to spend and what in the next fiscal year. So expenditure budget जो है वो बताता है कि कितना गवर्नमेंट स्पेंड करेगी नेक्स्ट फिस्कल ईयर में एंड किन हेडिंग्स पे, किन सब्जेक्ट्स पे expenditure होगा. Receipts budget, on the other hand, provides information on how much the revenue government intends to collect for meeting its expenditure requirement and from which sources. So this is quite clear. Now, how do we classify government receipts? So government receipts are broadly classified into two kinds of receipts: capital receipts and revenue receipts. Capital receipts, those receipts that lead to reduction in the assets or an increase in the liabilities of the government, they are called as capital receipts, whereas revenue receipts are receipts जिनसे asset liability position का कोई effect नहीं होता government पे. So if you have to formally define capital receipts and revenue receipts, this is the resource that you should refer to. Agar in case you get a question in your exam asking you what is the definition of what are capital receipts, how do you define capital receipts, then this is the language that you can use to define capital and revenue receipts. Capital receipts capital receipts lead to a reduction in the asset or increase in the liabilities of the government, whereas revenue receipts do not affect the asset liability position of the government. We've already discussed this, but let's also look at few examples. So capital receipts includes recoveries of loans given by the government, earnings from disinvestment. We've already talked about this. Capital, these are ये जो दो तरीके की capital receipts हैं, which is recovery of loan and earnings from disinvestment, they come under the category reduction in asset. So इनको हम capital receipt इसलिए classify कर रहे हैं क्योंकि ये asset reduce करती है. Asset कैसे reduce कर रही है? Recovery of loan हमने discuss करा था last class में कि because loans किसी भी government के asset side पे जाते हैं और जब लोन्स वापस मिलते रहते हैं, जब रिकवरी होती रहती है लोन्स की, तो वो जो एसेट है वो रिड्यूस होता रहता है. इसीलिए रिकवरी ऑफ लोन को हम कैपिटल रिसीट बोलते हैं, और इसलिए बोलते हैं क्योंकि दिस लीड्स टू रिडक्शन इन एसेट. अर्निंग्स फ्रॉम डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट, डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट इज लिक्विडेशन ऑफ एनी पब्लिक एंटरप्राइज. देन अगेन आप किसी एंटरप्राइज को अगर लिक्विडेट कर रहे हो या आप प्राइवेटाइज कर रहे हो उस एंटरप्राइज को, तो उसको डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट बोलते हैं, एंड डेफिनेटली दैट इज लीडिंग टू रिडक्शन इन एसेट. Debt is another kind of receipt, which is a capital receipt, but debt does not lead to reduction in asset, it increases the liability of the government. So either कोई भी transaction जो asset के reduction में culminate करता है या liability के increase में culminate करता है, उन दोनों को ही हम capital receipt बोल सकते हैं. तो यहाँ पे again you have the breakup कि recovery of loan और disinvestment इसलिए capital receipt कहलाते हैं क्योंकि वो asset reduction में लीड करते हैं, और डेट जो है वो कैपिटल रिसीट इसलिए कहलाता है क्योंकि वो लायबिलिटी गवर्नमेंट की इंक्रीज करता है. नेक्स्ट इज रेवेन्यू रिसीट्स. रेवेन्यू रिसीट्स कंप्राइज प्रोसीड्स ऑफ टैक्सेस. टैक्सेस में अलग अलग तरीके के टैक्सेस आते हैं: इनकम टैक्स, कॉर्पोरेशन टैक्स, जीएसटी, कस्टम, एक्साइज, एक्सेट्रा. नॉन टैक्स रेवेन्यू, इंटरेस्ट रिसीट्स, अगेन नोटिस कि यहाँ पे हम सिर्फ इंटरेस्ट रिसिट्स की बात कर रहे हैं, लोन की बात, हम प्रिंसिपल अमाउंट की बात नहीं कर रहे हैं. वी आर ओनली टॉकिंग अबाउट इंटरेस्ट रिसिट्स बिकॉज इंटरेस्ट डू नॉट doesn't lead to reduction in assets. Interests are extra payments and hence it doesn't lead to any reduction in the assets. इसलिए हम इसको revenue receipts में include करते हैं. Dividends and profits, we've already discussed all these things. So I hope there is no doubt on this. If at all there is a doubt in these sections, please message here in the chat section so that I know that you are not clear with these concepts. I am just running fast with these concepts because we've already talked about these in the last classes. Okay, so classification of government expenditure again into two parts, capital expenditure and revenue expenditure. Those expenditure that leads to creation, increase in assets are called as capital expenditure. Suppose construction of a new flyover or union government giving a loan to the state government. These all kind of expenditures would come under capital expenditure. Now, just a question here that I would want to ask you guys so that I know you are clear with the concepts here. So, union government giving a loan to the state government comes under the category of capital expenditure. But union government giving a grant to the state government comes under the category of grant leads to creation of assets. We still count it under revenue expenditure. So, loan अगर दिया जा रहा है तो वो कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर में आ रहा है. अगर यूनियन गवर्नमेंट स्टेट गवर्नमेंट को लोन दे रही है, सो दैट इज काउंटेड अंडर कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर बिकॉज लोन इज a kind of transaction which is supposed to be back and loans जो है एक तरीके के एसेट हैं यूनियन गवर्नमेंट के लिए. यूनियन गवर्नमेंट कोई grant on the other hand is an aid. Grant is some extra help that the union government is providing to the state governments, whereas loan is just sort of helping you at that particular time, but you are not giving that money and expecting कि वो money कभी वापस ही नहीं आएगा आपके पास. So there's a difference between loan and grant, and that's why we categorize them differently in terms of expenditure. Loan जो है उसको हम capital expenditure बोलते हैं because that is a kind of an asset जो हम create कर रहे हैं, government अपने लिए create कर रही है. Whereas grant in aid, as the name itself indicates, it is extra help that you are providing to the state governments, and state governments are not supposed to repay the grant back to you. So in a way it is not creating an asset for the union government. This expenditure is not creating an asset for the union government, and hence it is not classified under capital expenditure. At the same time, it is possible कि जो ये expenditure states के पास पहुंच रहा है, states further इस पैसे को use कर सकती हैं to create assets for themselves. States can use this money to create assets, but that is an indirect creation of asset. That asset जो भी state इस money को use करके कोई asset create करेगी, वो central government का asset नहीं होगा. So that is the reason why we do not classify grants in aid as capital expenditure. So keep these small things in your mind because you might be asked these kind of tricky questions that how do you categorize loan and how do you categorize grants in aid. All right. So revenue expenditure, again those kind of expenditures जिससे asset और liability position पे कोई effect नहीं होता, such as expenditure on food subsidy, salary of staff, procurement of medicines, procurement of textbooks, payment of interests, etc. Again, interest payments, revenue expenditure, because they are not disturbing the asset position, asset liability position of the government. Okay. I hope this page is clear. This page basically talks about expenditure budget and revenue budget and the two kinds of categorization that we have, which is capital receipts, capital expenditure, and revenue receipts, revenue expenditure. Is there any doubt so far? Okay, I'm assuming your silence to be no, but if
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, so if again, I mean, I'm just repeating, अगर कोई doubt है तो आप please indicate करो कि आपको doubt है. All right, moving ahead, another kind of classification that you can do of government expenditure is into these three categories. So expenditure government का schemes पे होता है. Now there are three kinds of schemes that any government has in place. First is the state specific scheme. So only the state government provide funds for these with no direct contribution from the center. तो state specific schemes जैसे suppose मोहल्ला clinic, if you are aware of मोहल्ला clinics in Delhi, it is a state specific scheme. So it is the state government's initiative, जो आप गवर्नमेंट हमारी सिटी में है उसका इनिशिएटिव है, और इस पॉलिसी के लिए, इस स्कीम के लिए सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट से कोई फंडिंग नहीं आती है. सो डायरेक्ट फंडिंग नहीं आती है. ऑब्वियसली एज आई जस्ट सेड कि अगर स्टेट्स के पास सेंट्रल से कोई ग्रांट आ रहा है और अगर स्टेट्स उस ग्रांट का पैसा अपने स्टेट स्पेसिफिक स्कीम में एलोकेट कर रहे हैं, सो दैट इज नॉट काउंटेड एज अ डायरेक्ट फंडिंग. Direct funding would mean that state is allocating 100 crore rupees only for this scheme, only for a particular scheme. That will be a direct sponsorship from the center. But state specific schemes are primarily schemes which the state governments introduce. State governments अपनी particular scheme introduce करते हैं और उसकी funding की जिम्मेदारी भी सिर्फ states की होती है. दूसरी होती है central sector schemes, which are schemes जिसकी funding central government provide करती है entirely. So the entire funds for the, as I just said कि center specifically allocate करेगी say 100 crore rupees for a particular scheme, such as NREGA. So these are schemes जो कि central sector schemes होती हैं जिसकी funding central government से आती है. But it is possible कि NREGA comes under this category because I'll have to check, because NREGA is also state sponsored. So but there are certain other schemes which are entirely sponsored by the central government, which will come under the central sector schemes. Then centrally sponsored schemes. So central sector schemes would be schemes जो कि centrally funded हैं completely. Centrally sponsored schemes will be where both the central and the state government provide funds, and the ratio of their contribution depends on the design of the scheme. Yeah, so NREGA is a centrally sponsored scheme. It is not a central sector scheme. Centrally sponsored और central sector scheme का difference I hope clear है. सेंट्रल सेक्टर स्कीम्स ऐसी स्कीम्स होती हैं जिसमें सिर्फ सेंटर फंड प्रोवाइड करता है, स्टेट्स नहीं प्रोवाइड करते हैं. whereas centrally sponsored schemes are schemes that are implemented by the state government and the funding is provided by both the central and the state government. कौन कितना परसेंटेज ऑफ फंड करेगा वो स्कीम के प्लान में, डिजाइन में रिटर्न होता है. सो सपोज 25% स्टेट्स पे कर रहे हैं, 75% सेंटर पे कर रहे हैं. इस ब्रेकअप को डिसाइड, ये जो ब्रेकअप होता है ये स्कीम स्पेसिफिक होता है. हर स्कीम का अपना ब्रेकअप होता है. प्रधानमंत्री मुद्रा योजना और crop insurance schemes or girl child schemes, these are the kind of schemes which are centrally sponsored and the state doesn't have to pay any funding for these schemes. So I hope it is clear. State specific schemes जिसमें सिर्फ states funding करती हैं, central सिर्फ central funding करता है, centrally sponsored जिसमें दोनों funding करते हैं. Okay, moving ahead, deficit and debt. Now we have talked about this term deficit, but we haven't really talked about the details of this term in context with the union budget. What are the different kinds of deficit that we talk about when we try and assess an economy's position, and what are the kind of estimates that we provide in the budget and what do they mean? Okay, so this is something new. We haven't really discussed this yet. So deficit का meaning लेकिन हमें पता है. Deficit का meaning क्या होता है? Excess of government's expenditure in a year. Notice that this is a very important point because some of you were getting confused with what is the difference between deficit and debt, and how is debt measured and how is the deficit measured. So it is important to notice here that excess of government's expenditure in a particular year over its receipt. So extra expenditure जो government करती है in a particular year is known as its deficit. The government covers this gap by taking a debt. Debt is something which is accumulated. So ये तो deficit हो गया कि suppose 100 rupees का expenditure हुआ है, again hypothetical, and 80 rupees का receipt है. So 20 is your deficit, but इस 20 को cover करने के लिए जो लोन्स या जिस भी तरीके से गवर्नमेंट इसको कवर कर रही है उसको हम डेट बोलते हैं, एंड डेट इज अक्यूमुलेटेड. सो सपोज इस साल का डेट 20 है एंड लास्ट ईयर का भी कुछ डेट आपने अक्यूमुलेट करा हुआ है विच इज से 10. So your total debt would be 20 plus 10, 30. So debt is like an accumulated concept, whereas deficit is more like a flow concept. All right. Then classification of different kinds of deficits that we talk about. First is the fiscal deficit and the second is the revenue deficit. Fiscal deficit क्या होता है? It is the gap between the government's total expenditure in a year, gap between total expenditure and total receipts. Please notice that we are talking about total expenditure, मतलब इसमें capital expenditure भी आ रहा है और इसमें revenue expenditure भी आ रहा है. We are talking about both kinds of expenditure. Similarly, we are talking about both kinds of receipts, capital as well as revenue. Yeah, so gap between government's total expenditure and total receipts that year, excluding new debt to be taken. So this excludes the new debt. So it basically means कि जब आप किसी एक साल का fiscal deficit निकाल रहे हो, so as I just gave you few numbers कि ये this is 100 expenditure and 80 is your revenue and 20 is your deficit. तो बेसिकली ये भी डेफिसिट है, इसके लिए भी आप कुछ डेट करोगे एंड डेट यू नो इट कम्स अंडर which receipt? Debt comes under, is it a part of capital receipt or revenue receipt? Yes, come on, what is the answer? Debt is a part of capital receipt or revenue receipt?
Capital receipts.
Yeah, correct. So it is a part of capital receipts. So we are saying कि जब हम fiscal deficit calculate करते हैं किसी इकोनॉमी का, तो हम उस existing year का जो debt हम ले रहे हैं उसको exclude कर देते हैं. So suppose 20 will be your debt for this year, क्योंकि ये 20 आपका fiscal deficit आ रहा है और ये extra expenditure है जो आपकी गवर्नमेंट ने इस साल में करा है. So this आप इसको कैसे कवर करोगे? बाय टेकिंग अ डेट. बट हम जब उस साल का फिस्कल डेफिसिट निकाल रहे हैं तो हम इसको एक्सक्लूड कर देते हैं. सो एक्सक्लूडिंग न्यू डेट टू बी टेकन, द डिफरेंस बिटवीन द total expenditure and the total revenue is called as the fiscal deficit. So basically fiscal deficit क्या indicate करता है? Fiscal deficit indicates the amount of borrowing to be made by the government that year. कितना बोरोइंग गवर्नमेंट, क्योंकि डेफिनेटली अगर गवर्नमेंट के पास ये एक्स्ट्रा रुपए नहीं है बट गवर्नमेंट ने ये एक्स्ट्रा रुपए स्पेंड कर दिए हैं, तो गवर्नमेंट को ये कहां से मिलेंगे? बाय बोरोइंग. नाउ अगेन बोरोइंग किस तरीके से कर रही है गवर्नमेंट, दैट इज अ डिफरेंट टॉपिक ऑल टुगेदर. इट कुड बी डोमेस्टिक इंटरनल बोरोइंग, इट कुड बी एक्सटर्नल बोरोइंग, different sources that the government can use to borrow money. That is a different story, but whatever it is borrowing is basically represented by the fiscal deficit. Now what is revenue deficit? So revenue deficit is the gap between revenue expenditure of the government and revenue receipts of the government. Now this is something जो मैंने I think in the last some lecture I have highlighted this point that your fiscal deficit is an important indicator. किसी भी इकोनॉमी की परफॉर्मेंस को जज करने के लिए, एनालाइज करने के लिए फिस्कल डेफिसिट प्लेज एन इंपॉर्टेंट रोल. नाउ फिस्कल डेफिसिट के दो पार्ट हो सकते हैं. वन कैन बी रेवेन्यू डेफिसिट, द अदर वन कैन बी कैपिटल डेफिसिट. तो ये जो हम बोल रहे हैं कि ignore my handwriting here because I'm using my laptop keypad to write. Yeah, so one could be your revenue deficit, the other one could be your capital deficit. Now, आपका fiscal deficit का percentage कहाँ से आ रहा है? That is important to analyze any government's fiscal position. So suppose revenue deficit हमें पता है कि revenue deficit का difference, revenue deficit क्या है? It is the difference between revenue expenditure and revenue receipts. We know कि revenue expenditure का क्या मतलब होता है, हमें पता है revenue receipts का क्या मतलब होता है. ये ऐसे expenditure और receipts हैं जो कि आपकी इकोनॉमी को रोजमर्रा के एक्शंस के लिए या they are more recurring in nature, and they do not lead to any asset creation, nor do they lead to any reduction in liability or increase in liability. तो ये इस तरीके के इनफ्लोज और आउटफ्लोज हैं मनी के, जिसमें कुछ एसेट लाइबिलिटी पोजीशन का डिस्टर्बेंस नहीं होता. कैपिटल रिसिट्स और एक्सपेंडिचर ऑन द अदर हैंड आर इंपॉर्टेंट because these are more productive in nature and they lead to creation of assets, right? So if we are incurring capital deficit, obviously हम extra expenditure कर रहे हैं, that is a bad thing, but the good thing here is कि जो हम extra expenditure कर रहे हैं वो हम किसी asset पे कर रहे हैं, किसी productive asset पे कर रहे हैं, and we believe कि ये जो हम extra expenditure कर रहे हैं इसके returns हमें अच्छे मिलेंगे. So in a way we can say कि इसका जो ROI है या इसका जो return है वो ज्यादा होगा इस तरीके के डेफिसिट का, कैपिटल डेफिसिट का. एक्स्ट्रा एक्सपेंडिचर जो हम कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे, that is leading to some asset creation, and we believe that this asset creation will further boost the economy, will increase the output and will help the economy in the long run. Revenue deficit on the other hand is not really, it is not productive in that sense कि ये बहुत ही डायरेक्टली प्रोडक्टिव नहीं होता है, इसमें कोई आप एसेट जनरेट नहीं करते हो. तो अगर आपके फिस्कल डेफिसिट का मेजर परसेंटेज ये है, मेजर परसेंटेज आ रहा है रेवेन्यू डेफिसिट से, then it tells you a story about how and where you are spending. So it is not just important to look at the measure of fiscal deficit. किसी भी इकोनॉमी के सिचुएशन को आप सिर्फ उसके फिस्कल डेफिसिट को देख के जज नहीं कर सकते हो. यू हैव टू फर्दर इंस्पेक्ट एंड सी कि ये फिस्कल डेफिसिट का सोर्स कहाँ से आ रहा है. ये फिस्कल डेफिसिट क्या रेवेन्यू डेफिसिट से आ रहा है या ये फिस्कल डेफिसिट कैपिटल डेफिसिट से आ रहा है. But if you find that your fiscal deficit is mainly coming from revenue deficit, then that is a harmful position to be in for any economy, because you are not really spending on productive things. You are spending on things जो आप रोजमर्रा के actions के लिए use कर रहे हो. So it is important to look at what is the source of this fiscal deficit, and you can relate this to yourself as well. I mean, not just government. I mean, if you think about yourself as a citizen and you have some money in your hand, and suppose कि आपको एक कुछ pocket money मिलता है महीने का, and आप you are also making some expenditure. So अगर if your expenditure is going on to your day to day subsistence, कि आप खाना खा रहे हो, आप college जा रहे हो, you're having probably eating outside in a restaurant or something, so you're spending on all these things. These are not really leading to any asset creation. But suppose you are investing on say books, so you are purchasing books and you've purchased some extra books, आप कुछ extra knowledge gain कर रहे हो, या you have enrolled yourself in some kind of extracurricular activity, so you are working on yourself. These are the kind of expenditures जो आप अपने आप के डेवलपमेंट के लिए इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हो. whereas the other kind of expenditures are expenditures which are your day to day expenditures and which are not really leading to any kind of, they are not really adding to you in the long run. So even if you spend more, like even if अगर आप अपने पापा के पास जाके बोलते हो कि मतलब मेरा पॉकेट मनी कम पड़ रहा है but my expenditure is so and so, so you are basically running a deficit. But maybe your father will be happy to know that your father or your mother will be happy to know that your deficit is at least going into some productive activity, which in the long run will give higher returns. Higher returns किस sense में कि आप ज़्यादा developed होगे, as a person you are more developed and you'll probably end up better in your life. So that is going to give you a higher return in the long run. So even if you are spending more in the short run, but you expect that will yield a higher return in the long run, it is still a better position to be in, as compared to a situation where you're spending more because you're spending on your some activities which are not really leading to any productivity, which are not adding to your productivity. So you get the point कि fiscal deficit का measure को further inspect करने की जरूरत होती है किसी भी economy के situation को judge करने के लिए. All right. Any questions so far?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Moving ahead. Okay. Yeah, so budget estimates and revised estimates. Again, this was something that some of you pointed out. In the last class when we were looking at the documents, some of you pointed out कि क्यों पिछले साल का एक्चुअल एस्टिमेट नहीं दिया जाता है. दो तरीके के एस्टिमेट्स दिए जाते हैं, एक बजट एस्टिमेट्स होते हैं और एक रिवाइज्ड एस्टिमेट्स होते हैं. एंड आई टोल्ड यू the reason being that you do not have data. So when you are and you will read about this in this annexure कि बजट का साइकिल क्या होता है. यू विल नोटिस कि बजट का जो प्रेपरेशन होता है, अगर 2021 का बजट फरवरी में रिलीज हो रहा है तो उसका जो प्रेपरेशन होता है वो पिछले साल के अगस्त से शुरू हो जाता है. ना इसका मतलब हुआ कि आप अगस्त 2019 से अपने प्रोसेस को शुरू कर देते हो बजट के प्रेपरेशन के लिए. ना अगस्त 2019 तक डेफिनेटली आपके पास दो डेटा होते हैं लास्ट ईयर के. सो 2020 टू 21 का जब आप बजट बना रहे हो तो आपके पास 1920 का जो डेटा है वो कहाँ तक का है, सिर्फ अगस्त तक का. सो यू जस्ट हैव डेटा फॉर फर्स्ट फ्यू मंथ्स ऑफ द लास्ट ईयर. दैट्स व्हाई जब आप एनुअल फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट देखते हो तो आप दो 1920 के आप दो चीजें देखते हो, एक तो बजट एस्टिमेट्स और एक रिवाइज्ड एस्टिमेट्स. और 18-19 की आप एक्चुअल वैल्यू देखते हो. क्यों? क्योंकि 18-19 का तो डेटा आपके पास अगस्त 19 तक होगा ही होगा. सो 18-19 का मतलब हो गया आपके पास 1920 में इसका डेटा है तो इसके आप एक्चुअल वैल्यू देखते हो, इसकी आप बजट वैल्यू देखते हो. बजट एस्टिमेट वो एस्टिमेट है जो फरवरी 2019 में रिलीज हुआ होगा. 1920 का जो बजट है वो फरवरी में रिलीज हुआ होगा, फरवरी 19 में. तो जो उसमें एस्टिमेट्स आए होंगे उसको हम बोलते हैं बजट एस्टिमेट्स. रिवाइज्ड एस्टिमेट्स का मतलब है कि 1920 में जो 6 महीने आप ऑलरेडी गुजर चुके हैं उसके बेसिस पे अगर आप अपने एस्टिमेट्स को चेंज करना चाहते हो, आप देख रहे हो कि शायद एक्सपेंडिचर ज्यादा हो रहा है या रेवेन्यू कम हो रहा है या रेवेन्यू ज्यादा हो रहा है एक्सपेंडिचर कम हो रहा है, जो भी आपकी फर्स्ट 6 मंथ्स की परफॉर्मेंस है उसके बेसिस पे आप अगर एस्टिमेट्स को रिवाइज करना चाहते हो तो वो रिवाइज्ड एस्टिमेट्स के अंदर आता है. इसीलिए आप 1920 में देखते हो कि दो तरीके के एस्टिमेट्स हैं, एक तो बजट एस्टिमेट्स जो कि ओरिजिनली फरवरी 2019 में रिलीज हुए होंगे, and then you get revised estimates जो आप अगस्त में based on the first 6 months performance आप रिवाइज करते हो when you release the budget for the next year. and so इस साल का एक्चुअल अमाउंट कब दिखेगा आपको? जब 21-22 का बजट आएगा तब आपको इस साल का एक्चुअल अमाउंट दिखेगा. बट 2021 के बजट में आप इसका बजट और रिवाइज एस्टिमेट्स देखते हो. और 2020 टू 21 के लिए आप कौन से एस्टिमेट्स प्रोवाइड करते हो? बजट एस्टिमेट्स. बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली फरवरी 20 में आप बजट एस्टिमेट्स ही प्रोवाइड करोगे, रिवाइज्ड एस्टिमेट्स आप यहाँ पे प्रोवाइड करोगे 21-22 के बजट में. सो दोज एस्टिमेट्स presented in the budget for the approaching fiscal year are called as the budget estimates, while those presented for the ongoing fiscal year based on the performance in the first 6 months of the fiscal year are called as the revised estimates. Right? Is this clear? The difference between the budget estimates and the revised estimates?
Yes, ma'am.
To all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then what else are we left with? Taxation. Okay, I think we should pick on taxation probably in the next class. This entire thing might actually take us 3 lectures. So we'll resume this topic from taxes tomorrow in tomorrow's class. So we'll talk about tax revenue, non-tax revenue. This I think we've already discussed, so this won't take much time. Then we'll talk about direct and indirect taxes, division of taxation between center and states, tax GDP ratio, different kinds of important taxes that you should know about. Then union budget documents, what are the important documents, and then we'll talk about the budget cycle.